Hello, my name is Jeremiah, and we are here on Radio KAIR. I am with Stander and Company, and I'm here interviewing today Mr. John, and we're going to talk about Radio KAIR and what its purpose is and the whole reason why we're starting this podcast today. So, why don't you tell us a little bit, John, about what your who you are with the radio station and what inspired you guys to want to start helping the local community this way.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremiah. So the big picture for me is we saw a need in our community. We have in the Humboldt, Atascocita, Kingwood area, we have a prosperous community, let's say, and also quickly growing community. We've got New Caney is blowing up around the Valley Ranch area. So there's a lot of opportunity there for small businesses like me and you both work for to continue to drive growth for each other. But all the while, we do have outside influencers coming in, big box stores, corporate money that's coming into our environment. And there's a little bit of a fear on my behalf that we will lose the community identity we've had for so long that we fall in love with, right? The reason why we raised our kids here, the reason why we want to be part of this community is what we cherish and love. With additional influence coming in, I have some fear that the small business owner and maybe the families of the community won't be as well represented. So in taking on that responsibility a little bit, Bob has a little bit of an opportunity to showcase what he's already built, a skeleton he's built for this radio station, this web streaming service, and kind of add on to it, really to do a better job of highlighting small business. Maybe the corporate sponsors are helping to pay these bills, but all the while the focus is on our smaller businesses and our families in the community, helping to educate, helping to support, to announce, all those things that I think that are important. Even going back to politics, right? We don't want to be a political environment, but we definitely want to educate the environment that we're in, the community we're in, on why certain elections are important, not necessarily taking one side or the other. And then second, make sure we do represent the small business well, give them the opportunity to represent themselves, showcase that, utilize our social media networks that you've built, that I've built, that all the people we interview build, utilize those to bounce information off each other, to highlight each other and show some pride in what we do and why we're proud of our community.
Well, that's exciting. I think that this is exciting for small businesses. Let's talk a little bit about the details and how this is going to help them, not just help them, but what you're going to do to help promote them and get the word out, and how you're going to be targeting them, and the kind of methods that you're going to be using to execute this.
Yeah, so the biggest part of this is being self-sufficient. When we interview each other, like, that's why we're taking this opportunity. Me and Jeremiah, we talked about it last week of, well, we have this media, we have this platform. Why don't we take advantage of it and utilize both of our social media platforms, record each other a little bit? One, to highlight what Bob's trying to accomplish here at the studio. Second, what Nicholas and Jeremiah are trying to accomplish at Stander, and how we're helping the community and how we're educating the community. We're really taking this media. Okay, now we're going to roll it up into a video file as opposed to just an audio file. In the past, traditionally, Bob has used an audio file, which he puts through a web streaming service. Has had great success doing that, but I think tacking on the video side of it to taking information in the way that the consumer wants to take it, as opposed to us trying to force a communication towards them that they don't appreciate. I think everybody in our environment understands that people want to take social media, take the Facebooks of the world, take their information from the YouTubes in snippets, right? 20-minute clips as you're driving to work or running an errand at your own pace, as opposed to waiting on a web streaming service. Now, the web streaming service is great because we have consumers that like to take that information that way too. So we don't want to burn that bridge, but we also want to take advantage of other social media platforms in our environment to give people information in the media they prefer.
Wow. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. And so I see an opportunity for these small businesses as they're being interviewed, and your audience, if correct me if I'm wrong, John, is listening to, watching these videos, and then, maybe having an interest. Are these going to be interviews specifically about their business and questions being asked on how they're helping the community with their services? Tell us a little bit about the interviews.
Yeah. Most people, in small business ownership don't understand how to be interviewed, right? And we want to take people's experience. Jeremiah's gained a ton of experience in interviewing for Meet the Merchants. I'm gaining experience in the background from listening to them, what to highlight, what's important, and then me taking my own information as a consumer, what's important to me, right? So whenever we have a Meet the Merchant segment or a home improvement segment type environment, well, we can use what's been successful in the past, right? We can use from a consumer what sold me on that business, whether they were more ethical, and typically the people that are closer to the community are the more ethical people in the community, or people that give back more to the community, or is it their Facebook reviews, is it their Google reviews? All those things that drive credibility, I think, are important to highlight in this environment. And teaching and highlighting a small business owner, teaching them how to highlight themselves, I think is important. And us doing this, just doing an interview, now they get to sit there and think about behind the scenes, even if it's only 30 minutes, what are they most proud about what they do in the environment? Why are they proud to own their business? Why are they proud of their team, what their team accomplishes, all the reviews they've accomplished, all those things they're doing in our neighborhoods and our community. Us teaching them to highlight those things, I think, is extremely important. And Bob's got 30, 40 years in the community of small business ownership where he's already learned that. So we're taking some of his skills and teaching people how to utilize that. And then vice versa, Jeremiah, as he gains experience doing the Meet the Merchant, guess what? He's going to get better and better at the interviewer, and as well as the interviewee. So he can stop, cut things out. Hey, I'm not sure you want to say it that way. Teach them the right way to highlight their business, because when we do these, we want to shed the most positive light on their business. We don't want there to be confusion, or we don't want to violate agreements. We want to make sure that we do the best we can to represent their business, in which the reason they came to do this.
It's really a powerful thing, John. I mean, small business owners that spend a lifetime educating themselves about the service that they provide. Now, given, of course, there are, companies that sell shoes, for example, there are some things that need to be, learned about shoes, but there's a given. I'm going in there and I know, what kind of shoes I want to buy. I might need a little bit of help on the size and that sort of thing. But there's so many of these small businesses in our community that have, a wealth of knowledge and education, and maybe they get a chance to talk about that in front of their customers who they're selling to, but they don't get to share that information, to the local community. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for them to be able to share a wealth of information, give your followers, Bob's followers, Radio KAIR's followers and listeners, an opportunity to kind of sit back and listen and hear some different things about some of the businesses in the community, and that should, help us all.
Yeah, the one point that we need to make sure we're pretty clear on is these segments, these interviews, need to be an opportunity for not only us to generate possible referrals through that following, or possible customers through that following, but also from each other. Right? Mm-hmm. Me and Jeremiah and Bob were talking earlier about, we really see this as we don't want to call it a chamber of commerce, but it is a very tight referral network that we're building here, right? I through this process of educating myself, I have learned a ton about what Nicholas Stander and his company does over there, right? I've learned a ton about Jesse McMullen and what Sargon Roofing does. I've learned a ton about what Bob does and what he's hoping to accomplish. But taking all that and bouncing those people off each other and connecting dots is a lot of what we want to do. We want to take the people that want to be influential in the community, that want to do the right thing for the customer, that want to do the right things for the family, our neighbors, we want to highlight them. And if you're willing and able to come in and spend time in an interview with us, more than likely, I would say a 99% chance is you want to have the right highlights in your business, and you're going to fight like heck to make sure the end result when you are referred is a positive experience for the end consumer. You don't want to ever refer someone that, gives you a bad name, and you spending this time to give yourself credibility, to give yourself a better name in the community, how you're giving back, all those things that we take pride in this great environment we live in. Okay, now we get to highlight that a little bit through this media.
I think you said something in the beginning that was just, really stands out and powerful to me is this community, the Atascocita, Kingwood, Humble area is growing. It's growing tremendously. And the more that it grows, these small business owners and entrepreneurs start kind of getting, their voices start getting drowned out a little bit. This gives us a chance to kind of, hone that back in, and gives us a chance to kind of talk to each other and help each other and link arms together and work together at giving each other referrals and getting the word out and helping the local community understand more about what each of our services do and how we can help each other.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not us versus them, right? It isn't the big box store versus the smaller business owner. It's not the mega service companies versus the smaller ones. It's learning how each one of those groups is specialized and good at what they do. And sometimes, a lot of times, the services that a small business that can provide above and beyond a big box store is completely night and day different. So we need to make sure we give that voice back to the small business owner, back to our community, all the while enjoying the benefits of those tax dollars, right? Those big box stores create a lot of sales tax for us. A lot of our kids' educations are based off of those sales tax dollars. So we love having them as part of our group. But all the while, we can't lose our identity in this great community we live and work.
Amazing. So is there any other closing notes that you'd like to, point out?
Yeah, there's just one more. So as we're conducting these interviews, one of the things, our big ask, right? So everybody has an ask, and Radio KAIR's big ask, Bob and Linda are asking you to help support them in just the following, right? Some people we're going to ask to support us financially, whether you're advertising on the station, whether you're sponsoring shows. There's a ton of different ways you can support this team financially, but the big ask we have right now is to go ahead and spend that extra time. Go out to YouTube, look up Radio KAIR, look what we're already publishing there. Go onto our Facebook, like, share, post. Look at the small business owners that you know and you're sitting next to at lunch or you're sitting next to in a chamber meeting. Share their information, because each of us has a great deal of influence in our community. Each of us have massive social media networks. Do us all a favor and start sharing each other's information. And we're just trying to do that, give a good interview so we can highlight their companies in the best interest. So yeah, it's Radio Space KAIR on Facebook. You'll see our nice pretty image when you pull it up. You'll see recent interactions and videos that we've posted. It is Radio KAIR no space on YouTube. Go like, share, subscribe, do all the things, the interactions, talk about it amongst yourselves. Help highlight the small business owners that are fighting their tails off to make a living for their families, one, and number two, doing something for our community, making sure they give back at the local sporting events and the high school football games, all the things that we love to see, the signs, and it doesn't happen without us supporting them. So this is the way we want to be able to do that.
You heard that, ladies and gentlemen. Look us up, look up Radio KAIR, and see about how you can contribute, share, like. If you're interested in coming in for an interview, find us on Facebook, mention it there, ask us there, or see us out in the community. We're always out We're going to grow this thing. We're going to do some exciting things. So thank you, John, for coming today. It was a pleasure for me having the opportunity to interview you today. Let's be great.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeremiah, and thank your team, and thank Nicholas for the time you're willing to give back to the community to highlight these small businesses. It's only going to be a benefit to us all long term, and we can't appreciate you as much time as you're given.
We're excited about it at Sandur and Company.
Thank you so much.
Thank